So, one thing that I've noticed about elite overproduction is that elite status doesn't only have to do with income. Yes, income has a great role and does play a large role in someone's elite status, but there is also a such thing as social eliteness, where let's just say you take two people of equal financial status. One person, all they do is collect money, they go to work, get money, go home, and they have some rather sort of isolated hobbies, right? Isolated hobbies would be things like maybe watching movies, playing video games, spending time with their one significant other. And maybe this person is of average IQ, they are average looking, they seem to be average in many regards. Whereas if you take someone that may be of the same financial status, not necessarily poor, they're not necessarily lower class, they have some amount of disposable income, and they use their disposable income pursuing social activities. So they may hang out with friends, and they also participate in large social activities. Large social activities could be political rallying, things like, talking about specific topics, maybe political topics, maybe even something like spiritual topics, religious topics. They seem to have a large social presence, so they don't just have financial presence, they have what would a lot of scientists and some researchers call network power. These people not only have the potential to be more challenging to the current elite, so that would be the incumbent elite of any given society, but they also have the potential to fall very hard. So obviously there's going to be an inherent risk. There's more riskiness to what they do with their disposable income. And this inherent riskiness can translate into being a threat or being a potential threat to the incumbent elite. And what you see with the incumbent elite is that in any society where there's a lot of people that have the potential to be elite, particularly if, say, for instance, you could look at gender ratios, right? Where there is a lot of men in a society, like there's an overwhelming amount of men. Maybe it's like 52% men. That small margin in a society run by men could mean that there are enough men out there that pose a threat and a challenge to men in power. This can come in many contexts. This can be political power. This could be social power. This could be power at a very local level, although that power is more of like influence. The ability to influence those that may have equal or less financial status than them, sometimes even people that have more financial status than they do, but have less network power. Also, you could see this inverse in females. You can see this within racial groups. So, for instance, typically if, say, in a society, the people in power are older white men, right? The most of the power is held by white men that are, say, in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s. And say there are white males in their 30s and 40s, or sometimes even 20s, that pose a threat. You'll see that those in power will be more protective of their power. You can see this in many regards. Say, in a religious context, if there's a religious society, there's some kind of religious social function. There can also see this in mate suppression, although with modern mate suppression, it's a lot more nuanced. It's a lot more subtle, but it is present if you know where to look and what to look for. Also, you can see this even with women, particularly if there is a society or where there is a social function where the women highly outnumber the men, particularly in positions of power, this is less common, although this is still common. You can see this particularly in, say, a very ethnically diverse country, where those that have a large amount of social power may be of a specific ethnic group or of the dominant ethnic group. This can be statistically, this could be financially, and this could be politically as well. If you look at, say, the Middle East, before, the Arab Spring and the fall of a lot of these Arab leaders, oftentimes the ruling powers or the ruling parties would be of religious minorities. So they would not be Sunni, Arab, Muslim. They would be something else. You can see this in other Middle Eastern countries or Eastern European countries where the dominant ethnic group did not reflect the ruling party or the leadership of the country. And you've also seen this in Iran a little bit, where the ruling party, the ruling class, was very heavily Azeri and not Iranian, like not ethnic Iranians. This is just a point that I wanted to give, and that's it for now.